everyone. Thanks for tuning in. And today, welcome to our Camp SPL Family Friday. And our City of Suffolk Tourism has actually put together a cool Great Dismal Swamp tour for us today. So I hope you guys enjoy the video, and we'll see you again soon.
Hello, my name is Penny Lazauskas, and I am with Nature's Calling. I also work very closely with the Suffolk Department of Tourism, and I assist with all their eco adventures. And today we are out in the Great Dismal Swamp. Today we are at the Great Dismal Swamp National Wildlife Refuge underneath the Underground Railroad Pavilion. The Underground Railroad Pavilion was built to pay homage to the men and women who fled slavery in search of their freedom, and this is one of the many places that they came. Now, historically, the Great Dismal Swamp would have encompassed 1 million acres of land, and it would have looked much different than it does today. Today, it is very thinned out, and that is due to the logging practices. However, looking at the pictures behind me, you will notice that it was much thicker, much more lush, much more dense. And this would have allowed them to have plenty of hiding places. It would have also made it very difficult for people who were searching for them to find them. Some of the things that would happen out here in the Dismal Swamp was the men and women who lived out here would stay out here just long enough until they found a passage up north into northern states in search of their freedom. Other men and women would live out here for many, many years, and including raising families out here, and generations would live in the same area or maroon village. Now, the signage behind me also depicts some of the ways they would have lived. You would have seen them hunting and gathering. You would have seen them going out into town to get goods. Now, Dr. Dan Sayers is a professor with American University, and Dr. Dan Sayers has been doing digs out here since 2004. The man has found artifacts to include a clay pipe. He also found, upon further investigation, that these men and women were digging down and reutilizing indigenous artifacts to include flint, arrowheads, and spearheads. Please come and join me on one of our tours out to the Great Dismal Swamp and learn more about how these men and women were able to survive, what they would eat, and some of the medicines that they would have been able to find out here in nature. Here we are at the Cypress Marsh Boardwalk Trail. This boardwalk trail was built a few years ago by volunteers as well as the Great Dismal Swamp staff. I myself had a little bit to do with this boardwalk. Now, this boardwalk is a great area to come out and see the bald cypress trees. As you notice, there is a lot of bald cypress around me as well as red maple. The bald cypress has a unique adaptation that it does, and that is, if you look down across the water, you will see what looks like bald heads. Those are cypress knees. They are not actually going to grow into new trees. Those are just offshoots of the root system for the bald cypress. Now, these bald cypress are quite young. There are bald cypress in the refuge that are as old as 900 years. This boardwalk was built to allow people to come out and bird watch. As we walk around and we take a moment to listen, you will hear warblers, you will hear your chickadees, titmice, and right now the prothonotary warblers are having a wonderful chat back and forth. And I think they are right in front of me. We are out here at West Ditch Drive in the Great Dismal Swamp National Wildlife Refuge. Some interesting things have been taking place out here. This area that is behind me, that is a freshwater marsh that was dug out about 30 years ago by the refuge staff. Well, they no longer maintain it because it is now maintained by North America's largest rodent. And as we look over to my right, you will see a large mound that is covered in sticks, and that would be a beaver lodge. They made quick work of this lodge. This lodge started getting built about a year ago, closer to 9 months ago. And you can see that the lodge is about 3.5 foot, 4 foot tall. And underneath the water's surface would be the entrance to the lodge, and that is to protect the kids from any predators that are found out here, to include bobcat, which this is a wonderful place if you're lucky enough to spot one. And then we have river otters out here, and the river otters, come May, you will be able to see their babies swimming around these ditches. We are out here on the West Ditch in the middle of the Great Dismal Swamp. And as we look out, there is not a day that passes where you will not have an opportunity to see a number of turtles basking on the logs. Even in the winter time, on a nice warm sunny day, you can spot turtles. Turtles that we have out here are going to be your cooters, yellow-bellied sliders, painted turtles, snapping turtles, and a number of other ones. These right here are going to be your yellow-bellied sliders, and I believe there are a few painted over there as well. Alright, we're out here in the middle of the Great Dismal Swamp. And the Great Dismal Swamp has a lot to offer as far as foliage and as far as medicinal and edible plants. Today, we are in an area where there's an abundance of lizard's tail. Now, the little heart-shaped leaves with rounded lobes, that is your lizard's tail. And when that is in bloom, it has a conical grouping of white flowers that hang down and then loop up, looking like a lizard's tail. We also have cattails out here. We have your common green rush and a number of different grasses. So this nice little freshwater marsh area is wonderful for biodiversity. Great place to come out and listen and see different frog species. And of course, as we listen, an abundance of bird species out here. All right, one interesting thing about coming out to the Great Dismal Swamp, if you keep your eyes peeled, you never know what you may find. And one of the things that we found is right down here. This is more than likely a turkey vulture feather. Now it is very rigid, so that is for power of flight, but they will also shed their feathers or molt during the spring and the summer time frame. If this were an owl feather, you would find little tufts of feathers on the end of this, and that would aid in silent flying. Because they are nocturnal, they need to be quiet while they're hunting their prey item. Turkey vultures, as well as black vultures, are nature's garbage disposals. They are very, very important to an ecosystem. Now, if you do happen to find a feather on the ground, please do not pick it up and take it home. It is against the law with neotropical migratory birds as well as birds of prey to keep their feathers. So we are going to do the right thing and leave this feather where we found it. Not only that, being on a national wildlife refuge, removing anything from the refuge is illegal. So sit out here, enjoy the wildlife, enjoy looking at the feather, but that's where it ends. Take pictures and leave only footprints. And here we are at beautiful Lake Drummond, smack dab in the middle of the Great Dismal Swamp National Wildlife Refuge. Lake Drummond is an absolutely beautiful lake and is one of 2 natural lakes found in the entire state of Virginia. Lake Drummond is a 3,100 acre lake. It stretches from east to west for 3.8 miles. From north to south, it's 4.2 miles. At its deepest point, Lake Drummond is about 7 feet deep, but it only averages 3 to 4 feet deep. So if I were to walk 20 feet off of this pier, I would only be in knee-deep water. Lake Drummond is an old lake. It's approximately 500 years old or 5,000 years old. The way they believe it was formed, and there is no definitive, but a couple of theories are, first of all, we had a minor ice age come through here, and as the ice was receding, it left a divot, and that divot was allowed to fill with water. Secondly, the indigenous tribes to this area believe that a firebird came down and created the lake. And most likely what happened is a meteor came, or a peat fire was started, and as that peat fire burned, left untouched, it burned all the way down to the sand layer. And leaving this enormous burn scar over thousands of years, it was allowed to fill with water, and now we have Lake Drummond. Lake Drummond is surrounded by trees. A wonderful place to come out and just bird watch and to look at how massive and peaceful it is out here. But Lake Drummond also offers some other activities. You can fish the lake, but kayaking or canoeing on the lake is another wonderful thing. Today you wouldn't want to kayak out here. It is very windy and a little bit choppy. However, on a beautiful, calm day, the lake is like a sheet of glass. It actually reflects the sky just beautifully. Come out here and kayak the lake. And here we are on Railroad Ditch. If you look behind me, you're going to notice a couple of things. First of all, it is going to be very open over here. You're going to see that there is not the canopy that you had seen when we were on West Ditch. Now, Railroad Ditch, which is the road that is behind me, leads up to Lake Drummond. It also goes through the burn scar. And if you look, you will see that there are no trees, and the canopy is not as thick as it was prior. That is because in 2008, as well as in 2011, we had 2 very large peat fires come through here. The 2008 peat fire burned the area to the north, and that fire burned approximately 4,000 acres. The 2011 fire burned the area to the south, and that burned approximately 6,000 acres. Both of those fires, being that they were peat fires, burned for long periods of time. It took a tremendous effort to extinguish both of these fires. Now, as devastating as the fires had been, you'll look that new growth is coming. It has also opened up an entirely new ecosystem with approximately 200 species of birds that call the Great Dismal Swamp home throughout the year. Some of those birds would include your glossy ibis. Every once in a while we will see the glossy ibis here. We also have your lesser yellowlegs. And right now there is a catbird calling behind me, as well as coming out here in the fall you will see swarms of dragonfly, and the green tree swallows will also call this place home. So please come out to the Great Dismal Swamp National Wildlife Refuge. See what it has to offer and all its beauty, and even somewhat with the destruction from these fires, it is still a beautiful place to come and visit.
Hello everyone, I hope you enjoyed the tour. Now we're going to do our craft. Alright, so we're going to jump right on into it. We're going to need a black piece of construction paper. Make sure you have a brown piece of construction paper and a small orange piece of construction paper. And then you're going to make sure you have two of the same color cupcake liners, one of the same color cupcake liner, and then you're going to have 3 mini white cupcake liners. Then you guys are going to make sure that you have your 2 googly eyes. And let's not forget the important parts of the scissors, the glue, and then a marker of any color. So we are actually going to make our cupcake liner owls. Alright, so first what you're going to do is you're going to take your scissors and your brown paper, and you're just going to cut out a tree branch. Doesn't have to be a perfect big, small, just a regular size tree branch. Alright, so this is my tree branch, nothing fancy. If you want to, you can decorate it to look more like a branch if you want to. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to put some glue on the back side of it, and you're going to paste it onto your black construction paper. You're going to paste it at the bottom, so it'll look just like that. Alright, now what you're going to do is you're going to take one of your 2 cupcake liners, you're going to put some glue on the back of it, and you're going to paste it right above your branch. This will be the owl's body, so if you want to make it look like he's sitting on the branch, you can do that as well. Just going to glue it right near the branch, so it should look like this. All right, now we're going to take that second cupcake liner of the same color, and what you're going to do is you're going to take your scissors and you're just going to cut a dip right at the top of it to kind of make his head. So you just want to just cut a little dip, make it look like he has ears. Alright, and once you do that, you're going to put glue on the back of it, and you're just going to paste it right on top of your owl's body, just on top of it to make his head. And you don't have to glue the whole thing. You can just glue the outside of it so it looks like it's kind of popping up. So it should now look like this. Alright, next what we are going to do is we're going to take one of the mini white cupcake liners and you're just going to flatten it. This will be the white part of his belly. And you're just going to glue the back of it. And you're just going to place it right in the middle of your bodies of the red cupcake liner, or whichever color you have. It should look like that. And if you have a marker near, you can just make like little rough feathers on his body. Make it look like you have little feathers up there. Alright, now what you're going to do is you're going to take your single cupcake liner of a different color and you're just going to cut it in half. These will be his wings. So you're just going to glue around the edges and place them onto your owl. And you can make his wings look any type of way. It doesn't have to be how I'm doing it. If you want him to look like he's flapping, we'll do that. I'm gonna move this one a little bit. He's flapping too much. Make sure you glue it down pretty good. I'm gonna add a little bit more glue onto this. All right. And these are my wings. Hope that you guys have something similar. Alright, now you are going to take your googly eyes and peel the adhesive part cover back so that the adhesive will show. And you're just going to place your googly eye in the middle of your cupcake, the mini cupcake liners. And these are the adhesive ones, so they should just stick right on down. Alright, now your mini cupcake liners should look just like this with some googly eyes in there. And what we're going to do is we're just going to place them right on your owl's head. So you're just going to glue the bottom. You don't have to press them down, you just glue the bottom of it. You can make your owl look as silly, goofy as you want, or if you want to just make them look regular, you can. I'm going to give my owl a crazy face. Alright guys. And we have our cupcake liner owl. I hope you guys followed along well and you guys got the same outcome. If you have a little bit of a cupcake liner left from the top part, you can cut it into a crescent if you want. And you can make a moon. For your owl. This is sort of a crescent. But there you go, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the craft. And please don't forget to call the Suffolk Public Library up if you need a kit. And if they are available, we will provide one for you. Thank you and have a nice day.